Sing we our humble lays, Mother so dear.
I had in my notes to say, please join me for a round of applause for Cairo, like I thought that was going to be necessary to tell you. Let's do it again anyway, though. Good morning. I'm Matthew Phillips, an associate teaching professor of law and ethics in the School of Business. As the president of the Faculty Senate, it is my great privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 State of the University Address, which of course is also the first presidential address of the Wente era. At the beginning of this year, Wake Forest Board of Trustees selected Dr. Susan Ray Wente as the 14th president of Wake Forest University. Educated at the universities of Iowa and University of California, Berkeley, with fellowships at Rockefeller University and Memorial Sloan Kettering, she brings the magical combination of small-town Midwestern background, her hometown has fewer citizens than the Renolda campus, that emphasizes connection and care for those around us with world-class training and experience at the cutting edge of medical research. I challenge you to find another university president whose website interview includes the keywords corn detasseling, dental hygienist, inclusive excellence, and aspartate transcarbamylase. Did I get it right? I thought it was pronounced differently, and she corrected me this morning. Our new leader is a fascinatingly complex scholar and human being. In other words, she's a reflection of Wake Forest itself, blending humble beginnings with an unflagging determination to do great things through dedication and hard work, to make the most of the opportunities in our lives and to chase the joy of pro humanitate, drawing on what is distinctive about us to enable those around us to flourish. I'm excited to see how she builds on this connection to inspire the best in us to even greater achievement. Dr. Wente has written about the importance of radical collaboration, the recognition that to do what needs to be done, we cannot work in isolation. We need each other. On behalf of a faculty senate dedicated to this spirit, and with gratitude for her leadership example when it comes to working together for common goals, it is my great pleasure to introduce the distinguished university professor of biology and biochemistry and Wake Forest University President, Dr. Susan Wente.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Phillips, and thank you to the Faculty Senate, and especially my most heartfelt thank you to all of you today. I am so honored and privileged to be here with you. I also want to thank our students, Cairo, for coming this morning to welcome us and really warm up this space for us. And I am also so pleased that Dr. Ed Wilson, Wake Forest's first provost, former professor of English, and former dean of the college, has joined us today. Dr. Wilson is also a proud Wake Forest alum. I was going to get there. Dr. Wilson is also a proud Wake Forest alum, as I know you all know from the class of 1943 and a World War II veteran. Your service to both our country and our university are so deeply appreciated. Thank you for being here today on this special day for me and all of us. I'm delighted that you could come in person today to be with us, and I also want to welcome everyone who's joining us via live stream. As we near the Thanksgiving holiday, I want to begin our time today with gratitude. My husband, Chris, and I have felt so warmly embraced by the Wake Forest students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends here in Winston-Salem and beyond. I am grateful for the energy and the care that you have invested in welcoming us and for the graciousness shown during this transition. While presidential transitions are never necessarily easy, completing one during a pandemic year presents a whole new level of challenge, and this campus has stepped up to meet that challenge. I can't emphasize enough how thankful I am that I have joined a community that promotes and values the health and well-being of all of its members. Your commitment to each other and to our mission is remarkable. We are able to gather here today in person because you have chosen to do the things that keep us as safe as possible. Getting vaccinated, wearing masks, and taking care of yourself and each other. Thank you. Thank you. I know this commitment has not been easy. We've had to work to uphold our collective well-being while at the same time pursuing the highest standards of academic excellence. Many of you have shouldered extraordinary responsibilities, supporting family and friends at that same time. I'm keenly aware of the toll that this commitment has taken. With your input, our university leadership team continues to evaluate how we can best support the needs of our incredible staff, faculty, and students. Today, I am most pleased to share new concrete actions we are taking now. We know the pandemic has had a significant impact on the mental and emotional well-being of college students across the country. To further address this, Wake Forest is making a major new investment in our students' access to mental health support through a new partnership with Timely Care, a student-first telehealth provider. Starting the Monday after Thanksgiving, this partnership will increase available mental health resources and appointments for students to ensure additional timely quality care. Along with our devoted professionals who are here in person, Timely Care will also be a part of the spring semester's expanded counseling center care model and our well-being resources. We also know that over the past 20 months or more, many employees have put off taking time off to support themselves because they've been here working through keeping our operations going during the pandemic. And many have taken on additional responsibilities here on campus so we can be successful. I'm pleased to also announce that this year we will enact a 4-day extension of the university's winter break, which will now begin on Monday, December 20th, and continue through Monday, January 3rd. During this time, the university will be closed. We know some colleagues will not be able to take immediate advantage of this extended winter break due to their essential roles supporting critical university processes and priorities. But I assure you that managers in those areas will be working to identify opportunities in the future for their team members to also take extra time away and will communicate directly with their teams with options. Our human resource colleagues will offer further guidance regarding the details of this plan later today. My sincere hope is that you will use this additional time and these additional resources in ways that are meaningful to you. These important actions for both students and employees are the results of radical collaboration and of teamwork, and are a reflection of our commitment to one another. Now, in preparing for this address, I read all the questions that were submitted in advance, and while there is no way I could answer every single one of them this morning, I am going to do my very best to really frame for you several of the common themes. Many of you asked about my vision and strategy for leading Wake Forest. Today, in the spirit of transparency, I'll offer some insights into my journey of discovery, how I've engaged this community so far, and some of my early observations about Wake Forest, this beautiful community. And then I will also talk about the steps we will take together as we create a shared vision for our future. Now, as a scholar and a scientist, I am truly energized by a journey of discovery. That is why I'm being so intentional about listening and learning as I begin my journey at Wake Forest. Now, if you were able to see the slideshow and some of the photos that were being on these screens before the presentation, you'll see that I've truly tried to be all over campus and in the wider university community, meeting with as many different groups in as many different settings as possible. Now, coming from Nashville, I will quote the country music icon Johnny Cash and say, "I've been everywhere, man." Well, at least I'm trying to be. I needed Cairo here to help me with that. Okay. I have visited and participated in faculty senate meetings and engaged with faculty across the college and the graduate and professional schools, including visits to classrooms and labs. I've held informal lunches and attended many gatherings with staff across a variety of campus areas, and I know I have more to visit. And I've engaged with our remarkable students in so many settings, at poster presentations at the University Research Day, in Tedford Theater for the Normal Heart performance, in my regular check-ins with student leaders, while walking laps at Hit the Bricks, and while cheering from the sidelines at sporting events, and also in my impromptu conversations as I find them on the quad on benches. I've traveled to Charlotte and Greensboro and visited the Wake Washington Center to spend time with our students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and our community partners. This journey of discovery has been helpful on several fronts. I am getting to know Wake Forest, and the Wake Forest community is getting to know me. It's also been a really crucial time for starting conversations about how we want to work together in the years ahead. I know I still have more to learn. That's a great part about being on a journey of discovery. But across my engagements, I've experienced so much warmth and welcoming from undergraduates and the college faculty who have long formed Wake Forest Center, to the richness of the graduate and professional schools that are critical to the depth and strength of this community of learners and scholars, to our tremendous alumni and friends. Our motto of Pro Humanitate was part of what attracted me to this community. And I am pleased to say that through these engagements, I have seen firsthand how we live it. I am eager to continue learning and view ongoing and careful listening as essential to my leadership as president. And at the same time, I want to begin tackling our challenges and seizing opportunities to strengthen and advance this excellent institution. We are in an incredibly strong position with limitless potential. I firmly believe this. The work we do in higher education is complex, and its scope is broad. So therefore, I also believe that we need a robust framework to guide our efforts as we develop a vision for our future. In my listening sessions with a wide variety of campus stakeholders, I have posed one big critical question to all. What is expected of a great university today? Another way I've sometimes framed it is, what is being asked of a great university today? I feel that this important question, however framed, is critical for us to address for several reasons. First, I strongly believe that institutions like Wake Forest are called to uphold a higher standard of academic excellence. We are viewed as leaders, not just within higher education, but in society at large. Second, when we consider the deep commitment that students, families, and communities make when they choose us, we have a responsibility to deliver on the transformative power of education and research, and we must continually push to live up to that commitment. And third, it is not enough to be good. A place like Wake Forest must be great given its history, its calling, and its mission. Thus, it's especially important for us to think hard about our shared answers to this question: what is expected of a great university today? The reason I've asked this question of so many Wake Foresters is to hear from all members of our community in their own words. I want you to articulate the expectations, aspirations, and responsibilities of a great university. So I've got some homework for you, okay? I want to invite you to reflect on this question and then share your thoughts with me, either by submitting your answer to my website or by letting me know when we see each other next. Your answers to this important question will result in themes, collective themes, that will help frame our vision for moving forward. Now, I'm often struck by how my academic experience in my disciplinary area has shaped my administrative approach. As a scholar and a scientist, I find myself leaning right now on the first steps of the scientific method: careful observation and background research, to understand new situations. And so far, I have 3 initial observations that have crystallized for me that I'd like to share with you today. I will frame each of these 3 observations by acknowledging the advantages I see for Wake Forest, as well as some inherent challenges that we'll address together. I believe that you'll come to know me as a data-driven decision maker, but also one who values leveraging data in real time to inform actions that are people and mission-centric. Thus, I'm also going to share some initial actions I'm taking in step with each of these 3 observations. So, observation number 1, Wake Forest has a strong community identity and commitment to the student experience. I know this is truth for all of us here in this room. This community speaks about itself in one voice through one motto: Pro Humanitate. There is such a powerful sense of identity and connection when people talk about Wake Forest, more so than at any institution I have ever been a part of. Individuals often identify as Wake Foresters first and clearly care about the value of the institution as a whole, rather than identifying solely with one or more of our many different parts, be it majors or schools or academic disciplines or affiliation with particular groups. Further, the teacher-scholar model is deeply valued here. This is apparent in our long-standing commitment to meaningful student-faculty interaction and in the many stories from students past and present that I have heard about the close mentorship they have received from faculty and staff alike. Wake Forest offers incredible opportunities for students to deepen and extend their classroom learning through career development, study abroad opportunities, and living learning communities, leadership and character development, community-based learning, and more. We truly exemplify what it means to be student-centered. Now, I view this shared identity and commitment to the student experience as distinctive for Wake Forest. There is clearly a collective will to sustain this identity and to ensure that we remain faithful to the many benefits it provides our students. Moreover, I've found that there's agreement that student engagement is crucial to our identity and fulfillment of our mission. Our identity contributes to an environment that supports the success of students during their time with us, and it results in engaged alumni who are committed to the well-being of both Wake Forest and the larger community well beyond their time here on campus. Now, just as we instill in our students the importance of lifelong learning, it is important for us to challenge ourselves to continually aspire to improve. In that vein, the challenge inherent in having a strong shared identity is that some groups may resist any efforts that might be perceived as changing or evolving our identity. Some deeply held traditions and practices may at times come into tension with our desire to truly be inclusive in the way we live our motto of pro humanitate. As we consider our identity and commitment to the student experience, I believe we must work together to bolster our efforts, and we've been doing so. We've been doing so through the pandemic, and now as we have come into this academic year. Being back on campus and in person has made the rich dialogue and mentorship opportunities among students and faculty fully possible. And we are seeking to uphold time-honored campus traditions and have learned what we value most based on our experiences these past 2 years. It's always good to have an opportunity to reflect on what we value most. By creating events and opportunities that truly embody the spirit of pro humanitate, many of you have contributed to bringing this campus more fully back to life after a year of profound disconnection. We could never imagine even being in a room like this 10 months ago. This fall, we also hosted a festive and moving 2020 commencement ceremony on the quad. I hope you got a chance to see some of those incredibly joyful students and faculty back here and families back here on campus. We adapted family weekend and homecoming events. We developed new opportunities for student organizations to host social events, including tailgates. These are all examples of us coming together to uplift our traditions and open them wider so that all members of our community can experience them even as the pandemic continues. This commitment extends to what will be our first in-person love feast since the fall of 2019, and I couldn't be more thrilled to participate along with you in this wonderful and unique Wake Forest tradition. Now, as noted, in this first observation, I believe our distinct commitment to pro humanitate and the student experience will continue to form our core identity. Observation number 2. Wake Forest is reckoning with its history to inform its present and future. Since arriving at Wake Forest, I've heard the community's call for us to foster a more inclusive learning and working environment. This call echoes similar ones heard on other university campuses and in cities across the nation and around the world to address issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But what I see here at Wake Forest is a community that has engaged in substantive, difficult, and complex work over the past at least 5 years. At least 11 committees and more than 100 committee members have put forth recommendations to enhance equity and inclusion on campus. More importantly, these recommendations are being acted upon, and most importantly, there is a collective understanding that there is more work to do. Our willingness to come together, ask hard questions, and work collaboratively positions us really well. We can build on this foundation of working through complex and at times painful conversations as we expand our narrative, navigate the present, and face the future together. Why is this reckoning with our shared history an advantage? This puts us in a stronger position to continue leading and delivering on our mission. Population data from the census indicates that by the mid-2030s, the majority of high school graduates will be students of color. Our country's shifting racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic profile make the work ahead clear. We must strive to be a community that does more than welcome people from a wide range of backgrounds, identities, and experiences. We must be a place where all students, faculty, and staff can be themselves, belong, and thrive. This is the right thing to do, not only through the lenses of access and equity, but also because we know that diversity makes us stronger, and that diverse communities provide such rich environments for deep learning, problem solving, innovating, and creating. Now, we also need to acknowledge the challenges ahead. We have advantages in this space, but diversity, equity, inclusion work is long-term and requires sustained commitment. This means that there will be an inherent tension between our community's sincere desire to make significant, rapid progress and the realities of both the resources and the time that real change requires. As we seek to ensure all students and faculty and staff can feel a sense of belonging and thrive here, we must identify what contributes to and detracts from this desired outcome. What are the experiences of different groups, and how do we address disparities to create an even more inclusive campus community? We will have to trust each other in order to have these hard conversations. Now, significant action has and will be taken now and in the future. Since I've arrived, I've taken several steps. Most recently, I announced the creation of the University Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. This standing council is advisory to me and is charged with ensuring we are making progress towards our diversity and inclusion goals. The work of the past committees have pointed ways forward, and we need to ensure that the actions we take are having a positive impact. I'm grateful to Vice President Jose Villalba and Law School Professor Tracy Banks for co-chairing this council, and I am thankful for those who are serving as inaugural members. We're also continuing the work the university started several years ago regarding how we honor and remember through our places and spaces. I asked the Office of Diversity and Inclusion with a special planning group to lead the next steps for engaging the community this fall in structured, open dialogues concerning our guiding principles for naming. You can share your ideas and feedback by completing a survey that all members of our campus community received or by reaching out to the planning group members. This fall, we are also working together to ensure our campus remains a safe and welcoming place for all. I want to reaffirm my commitment that we will conduct a survey this spring about student experiences with sexual misconduct. This survey will provide us with actionable data to determine what further efforts are needed to enhance prevention and support survivors when misconduct occurs. With respect to our overall diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, my thanks go to the many who are not only sharing their experiences, but also working collaboratively as a team to make further progress. I am confident that through open and respectful dialogue and with careful and transparent planning, our future will be stronger because we have learned from our past. Observation number 3. Wake Forest strives to be and is highly competitive. Across our community, from research to the student experience, to teaching, to recruiting faculty and staff, to postgraduate success in attaining jobs and entrance to graduate school, we aim to be the very best, and we are highly competitive. In the middle of a pandemic, we had a 94.5% employment rate for the class of 2020. Our faculty and staff are competing for and winning nationally visible grants and awards. Our application for undergraduate early decision 1 this year are up 15% over this time last year. And last weekend, on the athletic fields, we defeated Harvard, Cornell, Virginia, West Carolina, and NC State. to be highly competitive, to be distinctive, Wake Forest has made many bold moves. We have not required standardized tests for undergraduate admission since 2009, long before many other institutions. We have intentionally integrated ethical inquiry and leadership and character into our curricula and the academic experience. We started an undergraduate engineering program rooted in the liberal arts. We've invested in the teacher-scholar model when others have moved away from it. We forged a partnership with Atrium Health. We'll be opening a second medical school campus and have launched the new School for Professional Studies in Charlotte to expand our impact in the region while ensuring that the core of who we are, a university very much embedded in the Winston-Salem community, remains strong. What is quite obvious is that our students, our faculty and staff, and the university as a whole rarely do things in a small way. Look at this room. We go big and we go all in. Now, this history of being competitive is a distinct advantage. Wake Forest is not afraid to make big, bold decisions. As a scientist, I might say that this proclivity for boldness is embedded in our DNA, the DNA of our institution. And it's one of the things that attracted me here. The mindset of being bold, being innovative, and creative is not especially common in higher education. And our being so has resulted in areas of distinction for Wake Forest. New initiatives are plentiful, and we've leveraged our resources and position in the region to do things that other institutions have struggled to do. It is not easy to just start new undergraduate and academic programs, to create a boldly imagined downtown space, or to launch new programs in a thriving city like Charlotte. To use a sports metaphor, when you set the bar high and you clear it, the natural next step is to set the bar even higher. The more successful we are, the more we need to do to maintain that success. And today's success becomes tomorrow's expectation. So the challenge we need to acknowledge, a question we'll need to address together, is how do we make bold and strategic choices about where and how we will compete? And as we continue to answer the call to be a great university, how will we best leverage our resources and build further opportunity? We are taking action by aggressively pursuing and securing gifts and grants to advance our efforts. I hope you've seen some of the recent announcements about our successes in getting gifts and grants. There was a $5 million gift this fall to the Wake Forest debate program from McGann Medica in honor of her late husband and university trustee, John Kevin Medica. We have 5 new National Science Foundation grants to faculty totaling more than $1.7 million. And alumnus Bob McCreary made a generous $20 million gift toward the completion of the McCreary football complex. We also must ensure our campus facilities keep pace with our bold moves and aspirations. To prepare for the future and remain nimble, we need to study our core infrastructure and space needs. So in October, we hired Smith Group to complete a campus space utilization study. The study will reveal the evolving space and facility needs of our Ronalda campus today and for the future, and take into account lessons learned during COVID-19 to forecast future trends for academic work and the administrative functions needed to support it. This careful and thoughtful planning is critical to supporting our learning and discovery missions, to Wake Forest continuing to be highly competitive and moving our mission forward into the future. Now, I intend to continue my journey of discovery through active listening over the remainder of the academic year, and I expect that I will continue to refine and expand on these 3 initial observations that I've shared with you today. I also want to share an overarching takeaway from my journey so far. There is a clear hunger to define Wake Forest's vision and strategy for the future and to understand what it will take for us to get there. In tandem with my ongoing engagement with the campus, alumni, and external communities, I've charged the university leadership with conducting a deep and careful analysis of our current realities. This is work that will take place between now and the end of the academic year. I believe we must truly know ourselves and where we are in order to chart a path forward. This includes asking ourselves critical questions like, what are our areas of strength? What resources do we already have in place, ready to deploy? Where is there room for capacity building work? This assessment of our realities will form the basis for a broadly inclusive academic strategic planning process, which I intend to launch in the fall of 2022. In several of my past roles, I've had the opportunity to lead academic strategic planning processes. I look forward to using what I have learned in the past to bring the rich diversity of our experiences to the table to develop our Wake Forest approach. Most importantly, please know that this timeline doesn't preclude us from being nimble and responsive to opportunities and challenges that may come our way in the short term. You'll hear more about this effort during the spring semester as we are planning to plan. Throughout this journey that I've been on for the last 5 months, the greatest discovery that I've made about Wake Forest is the people. Wake Foresters truly love this institution and give their best to allow Wake Forest to be its best. This is not lost on me, nor is it something that I will ever take for granted. I look forward to working with you with a spirit of radical collaboration and by upholding trust, transparency, and teamwork so that together we chart the next course for this great university. I wish each of you a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and also in that spirit, take a moment to share something about this community that you are grateful for before you leave. There are cards on the reception tables, and while you're in conversation with each other, perhaps make a note about that. Stay, enjoy, and I look forward to talking with you too. And again, thank you for all the ways that you make Wake Forest such a special place to be. Thank you.